Welcome to the Adult Basic Skills Professional Development video series. Throughout our productions, we are committed to excellence in adult education and professional development in basic skills instruction. The goal of this video series is to improve the effectiveness and quality of instruction through focused professional development.
Never durst poet touch a pen to write, until his ink be tempered with love sighs. Oh, then his lines would ravish savage ears and plant in tyrants mild humility.
If William Shakespeare were to teach a writing class at your community college, what would he emphasize? Certainly penmanship, spelling, and grammar are important elements when building a writing foundation. Yet these conventions alone did not create the magic found in Romeo and Juliet. Shakespeare's ideas had an origin based upon his own life experience. It is this experience that gives his words, sentences, and verses a passion that touch hearts even today. Keep in mind that writing provides a way for anyone, regardless of their technical abilities, to bring their thoughts to life as they share them with others. Writing is a means of learning through language. Writing creates new thoughts. Thoughts which seem garbled in the mind come together on paper as they flow from the pen. Writing enables conceptual processing and thereby provides understanding. Writers transform thoughts as they assimilate new knowledge with the old. Putting ideas on paper reveals new patterns and relationships among existing thoughts and everyday words. This video is intended to provide adult basic skills instructors with new insights that will help them teach adults to write. It focuses on building writing competence as well as confidence within adult learners so they will be better equipped for their roles as family members, workers, and community members. As an instructor of adults, what are your techniques for teaching writing? Are your goals based on student needs and experiences? What are these needs and how will learning to write fit into your students' world? Will mastering this skill make their lives richer? Will they be more fulfilled by opening fresh avenues of communication? Of course! By completing a simple exercise, we can better understand the mastery of writing skills. We must ask ourselves, just what is involved in mastering any skill? If we may determine our inherent stages for learning, we may readily apply them to the writing process. To begin the exercise, identify a skill you perform very well. It may be how to cook a special dish, drive a car, write poetry, or garden. On a sheet of paper, describe what you did to acquire your skill level. If you are viewing the video with others, take some time to list and discuss the stages identified. As you talk, decide which stages of the learning process were applicable to all skills. The goal of this exercise is to pinpoint and define the steps involved in any learning process. After you have completed and discussed your list, please continue viewing. How did you master your skill? Did your ideas include the following? Motivation, beginning practice, advanced practice, skillfulness, refinement, mastery. Your list probably looked similar to this one. These steps are the ones usually associated with the mastery of any skill, and they can easily be applied to the skill of writing. We will quickly analyze each of these necessary steps for developing skills. Motivation. Most adults in basic skills classes are motivated to learn. They really want to be there. However, the trick for the instructor is to guide this motivation and provide a spark for the process. But how does one accomplish this? Getting to know the needs of each student is important. Balance class time to adequately discuss experiences, goals, and emotions. Use this time to build an inviting community environment in which adults feel comfortable to share and talk about what they perceive as their learning needs. In what situations do your students need to be able to write? When would they like to write just for fun? In what circumstances would knowing how to write make them more comfortable? When beginning a writing task, learners act on certain information that lies within. They analyze the task by determining the obvious as well as the hidden information. They determine what they want to say, they decide what is important and what can be ignored. Instructors should use students' first drafts to assess the grammar needs and entry levels. Using the student's own work as the basis for learning skills produces faster, concrete results. If students are involved in analyzing and revising their own work, this will help ignite their passion for learning through writing. Beginning practice. Always plan for students to talk before writing. Pre-writing discussions relax new writers and help them pull their thoughts together. By discussing ideas, learners begin to understand how concepts are related. They gather new and different ideas from each other. When other people accept their ideas as valid, they learn that they have value too. Discussion provides students the chance to elaborate on their ideas and clarify their thoughts before expressing them on paper. As students listen to the thoughts of others, they integrate the different ideas into their own schema. They will find their information changing and their ideas becoming transformed as they share with each other. Now it is time to write. Once the first words are put on paper, the instructor plans the learning activities for teaching the writers to reflect and revise. Jean Gagné emphasizes that what the learner brings to the task is critical to the planning of instruction. Instructors plan informal help sessions in which students work one-on-one or in small groups. Students needing similar skill development may work together. Whichever approach you utilize, you are now ready to teach writing skills in context by modeling and providing step-by-step monitoring. Use higher-level questions to direct the students through self-analysis of their writing and provide time for personal practice and trial and error. The natural learning process has begun. After writers complete the first draft, they should let it rest until the next class. Revising for content immediately after writing the draft often blinds us to our errors and the need for clarification. The time between writing sessions also gives the instructor time to read the work and make notes for future classes. Advanced practice and skillfulness. This step builds a foundation upon which creativity and thinking are applied. Learning is the ability to construct and use ideas and skills in new and different contexts. It requires repetition and the opportunity to use knowledge in a variety of applications. Instructors encourage students to use their new writing skills in situations which provide advanced practice and build a firm foundation for continuing writing. This process gives students control of their responses and provides opportunities for creative expression. It challenges critical and abstract thinking. At revision time, the writers attend to organization. They ask themselves such questions as, are events reported in the order in which they happened? Do the ideas appear in a logical manner? Is the writing coherent? Is the point of view consistent throughout? Or should a contrasting point of view be presented? Editing for content requires skills that must be taught. They are not automatic. Instructors plan specific lessons that focus on each of the previous questions asked above. They will probably find it necessary to plan both group and individual lessons on the process for revising first draft content. All lessons, however, should be informal, with students and their writing the center of discussions. Refinement. By repeated application, writing skills can become refined and internalized, allowing thoughts and expressions to become more sophisticated. In the past, it was thought that writing, and more writing adequately taught students and did the trick. This belief must be reconsidered. Just having learners write is not enough. The learner must think and incorporate their prior knowledge with new information to process learning in a new way. Of course, learning is never so easy. We all know that mistakes do indeed happen. It is the responsibility of both the instructor and the student to creatively incorporate mistakes into the learning process. In the past it was said, "Practice makes perfect." We now realize this statement is false. Perfect practice makes perfect, and perfect practice depends on our ability to reflect, analyze, and correct problems. The level of practice determines the attained level of perfection. Practice leads to skillfulness. Skillfulness and thoughtful refinement lead to mastery. Mastery. Mastery is reached when students are confident of their work, and what a glorious feeling it is to know how to write easily and naturally. Adult students who seldom write may have misconceptions to overcome. Based on past experiences, they contend that perfect writing happens with the first draft. These individuals might process corrections as failures and miss the learning opportunity that comes with the skill of revision. Instructors have the awesome task of changing this misunderstanding. Revision is the process at the very heart of writing. Adding or deleting ideas, perfecting grammar, or even beginning again constitute revision. This process allows writers to develop their ideas and clarify points. However, just revising alone does not produce an improvement in the skill of writing. The instructor must provide the critical difference by establishing an inviting atmosphere for dialogue and the expression of ideas. It is also important to instruct students to work with each other to revise work. Instructors can provide further support at critical junctures in the writing process by asking questions that focus student attention on skill and idea development. This reflection develops critical thinking and serves to motivate adults to write independently. Students may not recognize the numerous times they rely on writing to make their lives easier and more effective. They may ask,
Is writing
important
in the roles
that I fill?
upon analyzing the data gathered from interviews, the writers of Equipped for the Future found that adults do recognize the vital role which writing plays in their lives. Its development helps adults express a sense of self. The analysis of their responses fell into 4 fundamental purposes for learning. Let's look at how writing contributes to each of these. Gain access to information so adults can orient themselves in the world. Adults desire to express their ideas and opinions with a confidence that they will be heard. Writing provides them with the means of expressing their ideas so their voices indeed will be heard. It enables them to gather and use information. It allows them to manage resources such as telephone calls, to seek and receive support through letters, and to build thoughtful communication in journals and personal stories. Give voice to ideas so that they will be heard and can have an impact on the world around them. Reading and writing skills exist in relationship to each other. We cannot have one without the other. Gary Cobain states, "Writing is to reading, as waking is to sleeping, as giving is to receiving. The one act presupposes the other. Together, the 2 acts are one act, and yet each remains a separate act at the same time. Literally, to write and read, we must give and receive. Writing gives permanence to thoughts by making them available to others. Make decisions and act independently. When adults are able to put their thoughts on paper, they can write editorials, letters, and notes. They gain confidence in their contributions to society. Build a bridge to the future by learning how to learn in order to keep up with the world as it changes. Adults can construct ideas by combining new information with old. The writing experience opens windows to new and different ways of living life. Adults who experience writing recognize the multifaceted, dynamic system of communication that is literally at their fingertips. The foundation of basic skills includes writing, reading, listening, speaking, locating and using information, thinking, problem solving, knowing how to learn, and the personal skills of responsibility and self-confidence. Let's look at some case studies that demonstrate how these skills are basic to adult life in the family, workplace, and community. Family. The first role is that of family member. Family roles provide a natural use of writing as a means to improving the quality of life. Family tasks involving writing include making lists for chores and groceries, keeping schedules, taking telephone messages, responding to school notes, writing cards or letters to mail or email, and writing directions. How do we as instructors teach our adult students the necessary writing skills? Based on our knowledge of adult characteristics and the interconnectedness of family lives, it seems reasonable to use an interdisciplinary approach to teach the writing skills required in the family. This means that whole language strategies are appropriate. Whole language strategies teach writing in the context of reading, oral language communication, listening skills, and visual stimulation. One activity to begin the writing process is to keep a diary. Diaries come in many forms. Baby books and wedding books are types of diaries. Eating journals and records of day-to-day activities are also types of diaries. Adults can have the experience of directly entering information into a diary. They are the total authority. There are no wrong answers. Therefore, the learning situation is free for expressing one's ideas in writing. Workplace. Across our nation, workplace skills are in the forefront of each adult program. How do we give adults the writing skills necessary to obtain and maintain a job? What are those skills? First, to obtain employment, adults need to be able to complete applications. This requires the ability to write legibly in either manuscript or cursive. Industries often require that workers use information gained on the job to complete reports. This requires a very special type of writing. Writing for business requires clear expression written in concise sentences. Students must be taught to say what needs to be said in the most effective way. They must know when and how to use numbers, charts, and graphs. Students must also learn to trust their own internal revision skills. Relying on this procedure is applicable in many situations and saves time. Instructors provide students with skills needed beyond the classroom by helping them analyze their own writing. Peer collaboration is effective for checking grammar, spelling, and punctuation. Students may be given a checklist from which they can assess their own work. Computer skills needed on the job should also be part of the writing curriculum in the basic skills classroom. Community. In the data taken from Equipped for the Future, adults stated their desire to make valid, responsible, and important contributions to their community. How can this be accomplished using writing skills in the role of community member? Adults often need to correspond by letter with government officials or other people with authority. They may also need to request information from health or recreation departments. Likewise, when working with social services or other agencies, adults need to complete forms and applications. In addition, adults may want to exercise their right and responsibility to write letters to an editor for community issues. Once adults have confidence in their writing skills, their potential of contribution to the community is unlimited. Assessing writing. Warning: instructor assessment tremendously affects how adult students feel about their ability to write. Instructors need to embrace the role of facilitator rather than the traditional role of evaluator. Facilitators work with the students during the writing process, capturing every teachable moment to explain and reinforce skills as they apply to writing. In contrast, evaluators are involved after the writing exercise, leaving the student to work without guidance. Facilitators recognize the value of peer reviewing. This process is valuable both to the writer and to the reviewer. Facilitators teach students to be their own best critics by directing questions that cause them to think on higher levels. By developing and using a pattern for critiquing compositions, instructors reinforce students' potential to ask critical questions about their own writing. One way to assess writing is the progress portfolio. For this assessment technique, students provide a variety of writing samples at the beginning and throughout the entire writing process. Students then use their newly gained writing expertise to reflect upon their writing progress. They describe the skills acquired in the writing process and what the samples represent to them, distinguishing later samples from the earlier ones. After learning together, the class celebrates progress by sharing their work and telling what they have learned in the creative process. They tell how their learning experience will benefit them beyond the immediate class. They literally celebrate their assessment of learning. Self-worth. Not only is writing a tool for learning and living, but it is also a powerful tool for discovering oneself. It enables adults to get in touch with experiences and feelings that may have been repressed or undiscovered. When adult students discover the person hidden behind his or her exterior, they gain a confidence and security never known before. They can use writing to discover and organize their thoughts as they acknowledge who they are and what they believe. Writing engages students in practices that move them from the familiar to the unknown. It serves as a medium for expressing anger, fear, frustration, and rejection. But it likewise serves as a medium for expressing joy, pride, thankfulness, and acceptance. Writing knowledge is enhanced when adults see their own words come alive on paper. Many adult students find writing exciting and rewarding, especially when it is shared with others. Through writing, the learner becomes empowered. Summary. Writing is a process that takes practice and requires reflection for improvement. Teaching writing is also a process that requires reflection and practice. Writing should be taught within authentic contexts. This allows students to organize their thoughts and integrate new information with old knowledge. To identify an authentic context or to meet the specific learning needs of a student, topics and ideas should be discussed before they are written. Students learn to revise their own work with the help of teacher, peers, and their own reflections. They learn the importance of revision. Students who write their stories learn about themselves. They develop a sense of themselves. They become aware of their thoughts and ideas. They recognize undiscovered potential. The writing process is very slow and deliberate. Instructors can expedite the process by incorporating writing into every class and by writing across the curriculum. Simply allotting time in the class for the writing process will make a great difference in skill development. Because learning to write is not a linear process, students will develop and refine skills as needed. They can write assignments in the form of poetry, narrative, letters, or plays. A student-centered approach to teaching composition gives adults a new freedom. It provides a safe environment for revising their written work. Discussion opens them to a world of ideas. Class takes on a new life as students share their writings with each other. Individuals see themselves as contributors to both their success and the success of others. Writing is more than a skill. It is a mirror to the soul. It reflects life experiences. It connects the writer with home, work, and community as no other skill does. It is a skill that benefits both the writer and the reader. Okay, let's write.